Hello everyone, how are you doing? Hello Squector, welcome. Welcome. Or Spectre. I can't remember which one you said I should use. Hello Zushiko, welcome as well. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing good today, got some grocery shopping done, so that was good. A productive day, I would say. Let's see, is the music too loud? I'm honestly not a huge music fan when studying, and so I turn it far down on my end. It's very much in the background, I can barely hear it. But I think it makes the stream sound a little better. Just a little bit of music. Alright, where we left off, we were on Lesson 16, just finished Teikara. Can't remember if I said I was going to do something, but let's go on to the next grammar point, shall we? I should have my colors ready. Let's see, we have red. And we have our blue. Oops, that's the eraser. And black. And we had a green, didn't we? What's fun is in Japan, so when I was studying in Japan, one of our first excursions was to go and buy a blue, a red, and a black pen, because we would use that to correct and mark our papers and take notes, so that's why I use those colors. I just got used to them. Let's see, what is our next one? Describing an attribute of a thing or a person. Alright, so if we have two nouns. Noun. One. Wa. Noun. Two. Ga. And then an adjective. So we've been working with adjectives lately, huh? So let me see. I might have to take a look in the book. It's been a little while. Unknown user, hello. Welcome. How are you doing? Let's see. Let me take a look in the book for this grammar point because I'm I don't remember. I wrote a long description in my notes, so I put describing an attribute of a thing or a person. I remember. Okay, so this will be what someone's appearance is usually. Oh, you changed it closer to your Discord name? Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes I get confused. I don't know who is who if the Discord name is different. But that's cool, that's very cool. So this is used in a few cases. Let's take a person. How about Ina? Ina just got back, right? Ina-san. Oh, let me make it in red. Erase. Ina-san. Of course, we have to be respectful to Ina. Ina-san wa? Say is height. In this case, we're going to use it as height. Se ga hikui. No say desu. Ina-san wa se ga hikui desu. So this basically means they're short. Kui is short or low to the ground. Ina-san wa sei ga hikui. And then another one, we could say Ina-san wa me. Me is I. Me ga oki. Yes. Ina-san wa me ga oki desu. Her eyes are big. And I mean, that's understandable, right? Most anime girls have big eyes. I mean, I do. I was even looking at my model yesterday when my eye is closed. It's like the biggest eye ever. Like, I think all anime girls have gigantic eyes. I haven't seen ones with little eyes, especially if they're chibi. They're even bigger, aren't they? Those chibi eyes, the eye to face ratio is incredible. Okay, another grammar point. So this will be using the word, or I guess phrase, doyatte. Doyatte, verb ka. Doyatte is like how to, or like how do I. See, how to, verb. So a simple example would be like doyatte, and then we can put a noun in front. Doyatte computer or sukurimasu ka? Doyatte computer, I think that's right? Computerを作りますか? So this would be something that you'd search up if maybe you're building your own computer. You're like, oh, how do I build my own computer? I know that's kind of a popular thing to do. So computerを作りますか? Maybe you type that into YouTube and find a tutorial. I know I'm too scared to make mine. Oh my goodness. It's if one thing messes up, though honestly watching Magni and Vesper do it, I'm like, okay. Because they bent, what did they bend? They bent something that should not have been bent. And it turned out a-okay. So maybe building a computer wouldn't be so bad. Next we have dono. Dono. I think we've looked at this once before, but I'll go over it again. Dono. Noun. So dono means which, but this is out of 3 or more nouns. So when it's only 2, if it's like 2 nouns, that would be dochi. Dono is 3 or more. So say you were at like a clothing store or something like that, then you could say like, oh, dono kaban. You're looking at the bags or something. Dono kaban ga ichiban きですか? どのカバンが一番好きですか? Which out of these 3 or more bags do you like the best? 一番好きですか? 一番好き. You could be like, あのカバンが好き. You can point to one or something. Make it real simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. Language doesn't have to be complicated, though it is. It, in most cases, is. And that's the last of lesson 16. We did it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's move on to 17. I kind of like doing these 2-hour study session blasts or review session blasts. I used to like get tired after like an hour, but I like doing 2 hours now. It'd be fun to do all day though. There's people that they study Japanese all day and then they get fluent in like a year. I'm like, oh, if I had the time. If I had the time, that would be amazing. To study Japanese like every single day for hours and hours. That'd be awesome. I really liked doing that when I was in Japan. All right, lesson 17. We're learning the nai form. Yes, the nai form is so useful. All right, let's start with the basic one. I'm gonna get it's kind of like a chart for this one, so I'm gonna get the chart out real quick and get started. So we have verb, nai. Verb nai. So it's kind of hard to translate it in English, but the verb nai form verb nai form is like basically to not do verb. It's not saying like you can't do it, it's just that you're not doing it. So like if someone's like, oh, are you watching TV? 今テレビを見ていますか? Are you watching TV right now? And they're like, 見ない. Or like, I'm not watching it. Hello Alisai, how are you doing? And the fun thing is that with all the different endings, it changes how the nai comes. It's not the easiest one to learn, I have to admit. But let's start with the u verbs. So if you have su or suimasu, which is like to smoke tobacco, then from suimasu becomes suwa nai. This is probably one of the harder ones to remember, the e to wa. But just do your best, do your best. Panic. Oh, why are you panicking? What's up? Then the other ones are kind of easy. So like iku, ikimasu becomes ikanai. So just the from the e, let me do it in a different color. From the e to the a, essentially. But in this case where it's e, it goes to wa. But when it's ki, it goes to ka, so it goes to that column. Something like, what's another word? Isogi mas. This is to rush, to hurry. Would be isoganai. Gi to ga. Hanashimasu would go to, if you can guess that, hanasanai. hanasanai, machimatsu, which is to wait. I promise I don't know these just all off the top of my head. I'm looking at a chart. Just so I can get one of each. But it's good to be able to know, like, when you conjugate the verbs, what it's going to go to. That's why I have the e and the ah. So if you gave me a word in this form, I'd be able to tell you what the nai form is. That's the kind of level you want to get to. Machimas goes to matanai. Remember the chi is in the ta te in the ah column, so it goes to ta, not to like cha. Cha. It's not machanai, it's matanai. Then let's do nomimas. Goes to, if you can guess, no manai. That one's pretty easy to remember. And then kayedimas. So kayedu, the u version of ru, goes to kaeda. Another easy to guess one. Kaedanai. Not returning. Which could be like, oh, are you coming home tonight, son? I'm gonna make this a little smaller just so we have room for the other one. There we go. Zoom back in. It should still be easy enough to read if we go back to it. So that's the u verb. Then we have the ru verbs, which is much easier. It's just ru, right? Oops. Unselect. Ru verb. Like taberu. Tabemas becomes tabenai. So with this one, pretty easy. You just remove the mas, remove the ru, and add in nai at the end. Really easy. So like iru, inai. There's no person in there. Miru. I'm just kind of picking some. I'm not gonna write all these. They put a bunch of examples in the book, but it's like, come on. Minai. And finally we have our irregular verbs. I guess we don't need a line. Irregular verbs. That's kuru, suru, kimas, which is to come, goes to konai. So this is a special one to remember. Instead of like kanai, it goes to konai. And then shimas, i.e. also known as suru, which is its dictionary form. Oh my gosh. Shimas goes to shinai, I believe. Yeah, shinai. So if you're writing something like, what's a good one? Benkyo. Benkyo shimasu, which is to study. Then that would go to Benkyo shinai. The verb in front doesn't change. And that is how you conjugate to the nai form. Yay! It takes a little bit of time to remember, of course, but don't give up. The big ones to point out is the e goes to wa, the the reverbs are really easy. Just add na instead of mas, and that the key goes to ko. Those are kind of like the big ones that trip people up, I think. All right, let's do our next grammar. Let's start using, now that we've learned this new form, let's start using it with some grammar, shall we? Our first grammar point that uses it is verb. Oops. Verb nai de kudasai. Verb nai de kudasai. And this means please don't do. Please don't do the verb, of course. So an example of that would be, so in Japan, you might have already heard this, but in Japan there are special locations where you smoke cigarettes. And so maybe you're in front of a store or something where you're not supposed to smoke, and you might hear koko de tabako o su wa nai de kudasai. And then you don't need to put des or anything. Just end the sentence. Koko de tabako o suwanai de kudasai. Please don't smoke here. I thought it would be a good idea to use the one with the, because this is usually sui. This is usually suimasu, right? But then it becomes wa. Suwanai de kudasai. Please do not smoke here. And you could say that for just about anything. Don't enter. Tomanai de kudasai is don't stop here. So you might see a sign that says Tomanai de kudasai, which is like you can't stop your car here, or maybe you can't loiter here. Usually it's like you can't stop your car here. Don't park here. Things like that. And now, in a more confusing way of using nai. This is verb na. So, please do not smoke here. Yes, correct. So this is verb na kereba. Na. I was so proud when I learned this, by the way, because it's so long. Verb na kereba narimasen. Please do not smoke here, new stream rule. Y'all can smoke if you want. Pro-choice, right? You can do what you want with your body as long as it's not affecting other people. You can smoke here. We are not affected by your secondhand smoke. Though I recommend not doing it. Smoking can hurt your throat. It's not good. It's not worth it. Oh, and also like lung cancer, but the important thing is you won't be able to sing as well, am I right? Verb nakereba narimasen. This is please do. Or must do, actually. More like must do. That's one reason I avoid going to one of my grandma's houses, is because she smokes a lot. It's like cigarette after cigarette. Sometimes I'm like, after the fourth cigarette, I just be like, I have to go. I need to go, Grandma. It was great seeing you, but like, I can't handle the cigarettes. It's fine if I'm sitting farther away, but if it's just me and my grandparents, then I sit really close. But Or visiting with family. Usually I can sit farther away and it's not that bad. Yeah, I don't like cigarettes. I don't like smoking either. This is nakereba narimasen, and I'm gonna give y'all a sentence that I feel like I had to use all the time. And may be useful for you. So this is ashita shiken ga arimasu kara konban ben kyou shi na kereba narimasen. You smoke like a blend, but I don't like being controlled by a substance. Oh man, yeah. The addiction element of it is no joke, really. Alright, this sentence is a little long, but let's break it down. Ashita shiken ga arimasu. Ashita shiken ga arimasu. This is... Tomorrow I have an exam. Remember the grammar that we looked over for is because. Ashita shiken ga arimasu kara, because I have an exam tomorrow. Konban benkyou shinakereba narimasen. Konban, tonight. Benkyou shimasu is to study. Benkyou shinakereba narimasen is I must study. I need to study. This is like, there's no room for argument. You must study. So when you use shinakereba narimasen, that's like something you must do, or something like someone else must do. If you're like, I don't know, I feel like you wouldn't usually say this to someone. This might be something that like mothers would say to their children, or maybe like a boss to a subordinate, but I feel like this, you wouldn't usually say this to someone. You would be like, it's something I must do, essentially. All right, let's create another page. We have more lesson 17. All right. More nai form. Oh, I forgot to mention. If you didn't notice, it's not. Let me write it. It's not nai ke leba. It's not nai. There's no e. It's nakereba, not nai kereba. Just wanted to point that out. All right. Next, and the reason I said it was confusing because it's like nai, you think it's like, oh, something not doing, but with nakereba, it uses the nai form, but it's something like you are doing, something you must do. So it's it's kind of the opposite, kind of, at least to me. All right, next we have verb. Na ku te mo I des. Throughout the des at the end. And this means you don't have to do. Whoops. What? Don't have to do. So this is something. Well, it says what it says. You don't have to do it. It would be something strange that you wouldn't have to do. The one that like surprised me the most, or I think the one that's in that I heard that I was like that kind of stuck in my brain was kutsu. Kutsu is shoes. Kutsu o nuga nakute mo ii desu. So this verb, I'll write it down in the regular form. Nugimasu. This is to remove or like to take off. Kutsu is shoes. So kutsu o nugimasu is to remove your shoes. When you write kutsu o nuganai, which is like not removing your shoes, right? Kutsu o nuganai kutsu o nuganakute mo ii desu. It's okay not to remove your shoes. You know, in most households in Japan and even in businesses, you take off your shoes and put on some slippers or something. But there could be the case where you actually don't need to take off your shoes. Which I thought was interesting. This example has stuck in my head since I've learned it. Have you ever been addicted to anything, Alice? Oh, is it okay to talk about? I have been addicted to, drum roll please, gacha games. Yay! I guess addicted to gambling, essentially. But the most recent one was Genshin, and I have been since high school. High school's when I first started getting into gacha games, and I've played a lot of them and spent a lot of money in them. So I've kind of sworn them off after Genshin. I haven't played Genshin in a while because I spent a little bit too much money again, and now I'm saving for like VTuber stuff. Yeah, it's been better. I wasted so much money on League and video games when I was young and didn't value money. Oh yeah, it definitely gets you when you're younger, huh? Yeah. Oh, high school me was so bad. Spent so much money in Love Live. And oh man, it was fun. At first you like justify it with how many hours you put in, right? But then eventually like you start spending more than you can justify, and it gets bad. And I always tell my friends when I start a new one, I'm like, I'm not gonna spend money this time, it's fine, I'll just free to play, and then I'll spend like a ton of money in it. It's not good. It's not good at all. Let's do an example sentence off that. Game de okane o how do you say spend money? It was my own money, yes, it was. At least I didn't borrow money. That's when it gets bad, right? It was my own money. But it'd be like money I got from Christmas or birthdays. Oh, it's just to use? To use is to spend money? We're learning something new. Sukao... Oh, wait, let me write it in red. Suka wa nakute mo ii desu. Game de okane o sukawanakute mo ii desu. It's okay not to spend money in games. Or you don't have to spend money in games. Gotta remember, gotta remember. Growing up, I was given money from my dad to just do what I want with. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's cool. I did have an allowance. I had $5 a week allowance, and so I'd save up with that stuff. I'd save like half a year, and then I'd save up half a year and then be like, can I get a game console? I'll pay half of it. Whatever, it would be like a Wii or something. I remember doing that with the Wii and with the Wii U. Yeah. And then same with games. I'd have to save up. What would that be? $20 a month. So I'd wait 3 months, then I could buy a new game. So I didn't have too many games, but I'd always buy the $60 ones. Yeah, I think another part of it is like we're young, we're likely getting this money from our parents or like a gift, so we don't value it as much as our parents who are juggling all these costs to make sure our house stay afloat. True, that's true. You get better with money. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I still had bills to pay when I was spending too much in Genshin, but I never missed my bill payments or anything, so. And then that just justified it more. It was just not good. It's not good. It's not good. I'm addicted to my Rick Sanchez body pillow. Separate yourself from your body pillow, Ganon. Separate. You can do it. It's okay not to hug your body pillow. I'm not writing down. I'm not writing that down as an example sentence. Let's go to the next grammar point. Let's see. An object. Wow. I've kind of already talked about this a little bit. This is kind of explaining that wa is using the object as topic in this case. So wa kind of indicates the topic. And in this case, we're going to show how we use it when we use an object. So instead of like reporto o kakimasu, like writing report, it would be reporto wa. We'll write that. Haven't hit rock bottom yet. You can have an addiction without hitting rock bottom. You need to know. You need to know. You should not skip work to hug your to skip work to hug your Rick Sanchez body pillow. Is it Pickle Rick? I'm just curious. Is it Pickle Rick? Let's see. All right. So repa? No. Reporto wa ashita kakimasu. Reporto wa ashita kakimasu. Which is like the report, since the report is the topic. It sounds weird grammatically in English, but the report I'll write tomorrow. Instead of like ashita reporto o kakimasu, which is like tomorrow, I'll write the report. If you put like ashita wa, if you put ashita first, it sounds like the topic is about tomorrow. But in this case, it's about the report. So if someone's like, when are you gonna write the report? Itsu reporto kakimasu ka? And then you could be like, reporto wa ashita kakimasu. I'm writing the report tomorrow. I'm writing the report. Tomorrow. I bring him with me. Why would I need to skip work? Oh my gosh, I hope you guys have a happy life together, you and your Rick Sanchez body pillow. Okay, let's go to the next grammar point. This is nani nani made ni. This is like by slash before a, a deadline. By or before a deadline. So this can be like with a time or with a date. So it can be like ashita made ni so by tomorrow meru o let's just do okute kudasai. Ashita made ni, so by tomorrow, meru o okute kudasai. So, like by slash before tomorrow, please like mail out, like send an email. It oh shoot, was the message deleted? Oh, it was a chat bot. Thank you. Thank you. I feel like Ganon somehow you magnetized them because it was completely silent, but as soon as you come in, there's someone for you to ban. Keeps you on your toes, huh? Alright, ashita made ni meru o okute kudasai. Please mail it by tomorrow. And then you can also say like, oh, by 9 o'clock. Like, kuji made ni shigoto o tsukite kudasai. Please arrive at work by 9 o'clock. Toes. Okay. Okay, moving on from lesson 17. Tsukimasu is to arrive. And that's done with page 2. We've done page 1 and 2 of my notes. Now we just have 3 and 4, I think. Oh wait, no, just 3. Wow! Wow, we're learning so much. This is so fun. Let's do a new page for lesson 18. Lesson 18. There's only 25 lessons. So we're getting there. I was thinking at the end, I don't want to look too far forward, of course, but I might as well while I'm making this new page and zooming in and all of that. I was thinking we do a practice N5 exam for a stream. I don't know how long it'll take. We might do like an exam and then kind of review how it was and like chat about it. And then we do an N5 meme review, Japanese meme review. I think that would be super fun. I've been looking for memes. I found a few. I might end up having to take the L and make some, but I think that would be fun. Next meme, stuff like that. All right, lesson 18. All right, another chart to go through. How fun, lots of charts. So this is something I've alluded to in almost every episode so far, I think. Every single lesson, not every lesson probably, but every session for sure, is the verb dictionary or plane. I've heard it both ways. In Genki, I think they called it dictionary form. So that's what I got used to. I think in Mina no Nihongo, I could be wrong, but I think in Mina no Nihongo, it was called the plain form. So depending on who you're talking to, they might use the different words, but they mean the same thing. So with the oo verbs, let's see, we had, using examples maybe we had last time, We had suimas. That is... Let me write that. That would be su. Su. Oops. So the imas goes to u. If we have, let's say, to write, kakimasu, that becomes kaku. So you can kind of see where we're going. We're going from the E column to the U column. For U verbs, right? For U verbs. If we have, let's see, I'm gonna look at the chart because I think it's just safer that way. I don't want to accidentally miss one. Kagimasu. So next would be, oops. I changed it to red. Yogimasu. That goes to, if you can guess, yogu. Oyogu, which is to swim. And then after gi, she. Okay. Ha. My goodness. Na. Shi. Mas. You can see only this part connected to the mas gets changed, not the first part. So like, it would not be, I don't know, it would never be like oyomas or something weird like that. It would always be oyogimas to oyogu. Just this part connected to the mas here. Just the mas part. It's changed. Imas, kimas, gimas, shimas. The su, the ka, the oyo, the hana, it stays the same. So hanashimas, based on that knowledge, would go to hanasu. Then we have, I just started writing. I didn't even think about what I was gonna write. Let's do machimas, which is to wait. Machimas goes to matsu, same column, the u column, matsu. Next we have yobimas. Yobimas is like to call. This can be like to call out to someone, be like, hey, hey, like literally calling out to them. But this can also be like to call a taxi or to call a hotel, something like that. To call for a reason. That becomes yobu. Then we have, let's do nomimas. Nomimas goes to nomu. I love how nomu sounds. Nomu, 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 nomu. Nomu, which is to drink. And finally we have this one. So this one's a bit confusing. Let me finish writing it out. Hashidu. This is to run. Wait, no. That's not the right example. Hadidu. That's what they have. Hadidu? What does hadidu mean again? I actually forgot. It's not good to forget. Let's see. Hadidu. Japanese. Oh, haidu. Oh my gosh. Wait, what? No. Oh, I'm dumb. I read it wrong. Whoops. Haidu. I read the E as re by accident. Because I was just glancing at it. Haidu. This is to enter. Oh. Oh, so it's haidimasu. Haidimasu becomes haidu, to enter. So the thing about this one is it ends with ru, but it's an u verb. All right. As far as I know, there's no like set way to tell if when it ends with a ru in the dictionary, if it's gonna be an u or a ru verb. Oops, I wrote verb. So this is something you just have to learn and double check when you're learning vocabulary. So when you're learning a verb like haidu or taberu, you need to know whether the ru, when it ends with ru, you need to know whether that verb is an u verb or a ru verb because it'll change the conjugation of it. So just something to double check, something to remember. When you see a ru at the end, check if it's an u verb or a ru verb. Just double check. Just check real quick. It'll only help you in the long run. Now we'll go to ru verbs. So we know like taberu is tabemasu. That becomes taberu. The thing about the main difference, the major difference I think between Genki and Mina no Nihongo is the order you learn dictionary form and mas form. So as I've been going over in the sessions right now, we've been doing mas form. In Genki, you start with dictionary/plain form. So it definitely helped me to learn Genki first, I think, because when I started using Mina no Nihongo, I already knew the dictionary forms, and so it's easy to turn it into all the other forms based off the dictionary form. I think it's just easier to tell, but I mean, either way it works. You have to learn both anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it? You have to learn both. Let's do another one. Let's do miru. Oh my gosh. That's why I'm using the dictionary form so casually, even though we're kind of just learning it. It's because I already learned it in Genki. Miru. Alright, and then we have our irregular verbs, which is kimasu. So you can kind of see with this one. Let me actually go back. See with this one, it goes from mas, you remove the mas, and you add ru at the end. Very simple. Tabemasu to taberu. Mimasu to miru. Just remove the mas. The mas is not what you want for the ru verbs. Alright. Then for the irregular verbs, kimasu goes to kuru. And shimasu goes to sudu. So another slightly confusing part could be like, let me do it in blue, I guess. This shimasu and this shimasu. So essentially, like, this shimasu is to do, right? This is gonna be its own verb. So if there's something before the shimasu, like benkyo, which we've been using before, benkyo is its own separate. Benkyo is its own separate noun, and then we add shimasu, right? But it wouldn't become benkyosu, that because benkyo is its own separate word. What we're essentially doing is we're adding the suru on it. So instead of it just being studying, it's like we're doing studying. It makes it into a verb. So just be careful when you see a word with shimasu, like try to recognize if it's a noun plus suru or if it's its own one verb with su at the end. That's another one to double check. The rus and the shimasu. Just to understand the difference between those two. Those are Those are vital to learn. Okay. What's next? Next. Okay, using our newfound knowledge right away. Let's do this. So, if we have a noun, so this can be with a noun. Oopsie. A noun or a verb in dictionary form plus koto. Only the verb. Maybe I should just verb dictionary koto. Verb in dictionary form koto. Ga. I'll keep it blue. Ga dekimasu. So this is kind of a new form we haven't really seen, but it is so useful. Dekimasu is like super useful to know, I think. In my opinion, I feel like it gets used a lot in the media I've seen. So this is can/able to do. So what we've learned before, it was stuff like we were either doing or not doing in the past or present. This is something we're not necessarily doing. It's something we know we're able to do, or that we're saying we can do this. So an example with a noun first would be like, Nihongo, Japanese, ga dekimasu. Nihongo ga dekimasu. So this would be, I can speak Japanese. This is another way to say I know Japanese, I understand Japanese, I'm able to speak Japanese. Nihongo ga dekimasu. I've heard it said casually before. It's a pretty natural thing to say, I think. So this is a good one to keep in your back pocket. If someone asks you if you know some Japanese, then you're like, oh, Nihongo ga dekimasu. I can speak Japanese. Maybe not at this level, but eventually. So that's with the noun. Now with the verb dictionary, what would be a good example of that? How about something really impressive? Gohyaku, 500. Gohyaku. Kanji. Oh wait. Let's write it in black actually. Gohyaku kanji. Oh. Wait. Kanji. Wait. Hold on. Yeah, it would be O. Gohyaku kanji o yomu. Yomu's to read. Yomu koto. So you have to add in the koto. When you're using a verb in dictionary form and then you want to use ga dekimasu, you have to add in the koto. At this end, ga dekimasu. Gohyaku kanji o yomu koto ga dekimasu. I can read, so 500 kanji, yomu koto. So this is essentially turning a verb, or the koto. So this koto here essentially turns the verb into a noun. Then you can use it with ga dekimasu. Yomu koto, so read. Ga dekimasu. I can read 500 kanji, which I think is very impressive. That's a lot of kanji to learn. That's a good amount of kanji. That's like 1/4 of the way of like being very competent in Japanese, I would say. I don't think I know 500 kanji. I might know around 150, 200, but not 500. No way. That's a lot to learn. But I will learn it. I'll learn it, I promise. I wish I knew exact number, but I don't remember. New page. Next page. Let me save. I wanna save all the pages. Yes. And go on to the next one. Alright, this one's a fun one. I feel like I learned this one like really early on in my Japanese classes, but it comes so late in this book. I feel like it comes earlier in Genki or something. But that's fine. It's a good conversation piece to have, I think. So the next one we're learning is Watashi no Shumi wa. Then we'll do like ... Watashi no. Oh, the wa looks horrible. That's one of the worst was I've ever done. Okay, that looks a little better. Watashi no shumi wa, so my hobby is shumi. That means hobby. It's like what you like to do. Let's see, what's a good example sentence of this? Let's think of some topical ones, shall we? Watashi no shumi wa oopsie. Control Z, please. Hello? Anime o miru koto desu. So once again, we're using koto to turn the noun into a verb, because I think it would sound kind of weird if you were like, I don't know, it just sounded unnatural if you said like anime o mimasu. If you said like watashi no shumi wa anime o mimasu, it just sounds so weird, because anime o mimasu is like you're watching it or something. You gotta kind of turn it into a noun in this case. Watashi no shumi wa anime o miru koto desu. So turning it into a noun here is like making it the act of watching anime. When do you think someone will have enough for an ada? I don't know. Should I make it cheaper? I feel like it's been a while since we've had an ada. And I'm gonna write that down. The act of watching anime. Make it 5K so I can use it twice. I don't think so. Oh, you're at 9,000? I might drop it down to like 7.5 for next week, okay? Next week I'll make it 7.5. Discounted ada for next week. Celebration of return. Oh shoot, I just said it. Alright. And then you can do You could just say like, you could do something simple like watashi no shumi wa suppo. How do you write sports? Yeah. So it's like sports. Sports. Oh my gosh, my brain is like broken. Yeah, it's like this. Sports. This. My hobby is sports. Maybe like it's not as descriptive as something like this. So you could write something like sportsu o suru koto desu. My hobby is doing sports. Or you could do sportsu o miru koto desu. My hobby is watching sports. I think using this like a verb makes it more descriptive, so it's a really good one to know. Hydrate, yes, let's drink. I got hydrated today from a popsicle I bought. I bought a box of popsicles. Minute Maid, triple flavors, 3 different flavors: fruit punch, berry, mixed berry, and tropical, which is probably mango. I don't know, it was mango colored. I'm excited to try them all. I had the fruit punch one today and it was yummy. So tasty. And you know what pisses me off? That it's hot enough here that you can justify buying a popsicle. It's too hot. It's too hot for beginning of January. Seriously, why is it like 80 degrees? All right, we just did the shumi one. Let's do the next grammar point. Verb 1. Mae ni, comma, verb 2. So this is before. Mae ni is kind of like before. Before verb 1. Verb 2, essentially, like do verb 2. For verb 1, verb 2. So this can be like shokuji. Shokuji is meal. Shokuji mae ni. Control Z. Mae ni. Let's do a comma, it's fine. Shokuji mae ni. Te o araimasu. Shokuji mae ni, before eating. Te o araimasu, wash your hands. Hello, Giva Viri. Studying for N5, that is so cool. Good luck, you got this. Thank you so much. We're gonna do a practice test this month soon, so I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I'm studying well. How are you doing? Let's see. Would that be the right thing to write? Araimasu? I think that's fine, right? Before you eat, wash your hands. Make sure your hands are clean. I think that's a good example sentence. Another one, what could be? Asobi mae ni heya o souji shimasu. Before you go out and play, clean your room. You're good. Just eating dinner. I've always been terrible at learning languages. Oh no! They are difficult, I have to admit. Especially if you don't already know a language, which I don't. I mean, I know English, but the only other one I know is kind of Japanese, so it's been a rough journey. What are you having for dinner? Bangohan. Nani o tabemasu ka? What are you eating? Let's see. Let's do the next grammar point too. All right. Oh, the next ones aren't really grammar points. They're just vocabulary that I thought would be good to add in. We're kind of like done with the grammar, but I'll write down a couple of vocabularies that I thought would be good to know. So the first one is naka. And this means like generally, I think. What does this mean? Oh, not easily. It means a couple things, but this is like not easily. So you could say like it's hard to think of an example sentence. The first thing that pops into my mind, and that would probably be used like on the exam, would be naka wakarimasen, which would be like I don't understand it easily. This can be like kanji or like a Japanese manga. Like I don't understand it easily, but could also be like maybe like a really hard drama. I think it'd be good to look into this vocabulary a bit more because it's a little difficult to understand. Naka wakarimasen. And then the other vocabulary term that I thought would be good pointing out is zehi. So zehi is like by all means, and you can use it by itself. You can just say zehi. So if someone invites you out, like, oh, would you like to come to the movies? Eiga o mimasen ka? Then you could be like zehi. Like I really want to go. By all means, I'd love to go. And that's what zehi means. So those are just two vocabularies I think to definitely know, like know them well, look into them well. I myself, I need to look into naka a little more. I'm like, oh man, I'm kind of like blanking on examples. So I'm gonna look into it too. And I think, yeah, that's the end of lesson 18. Of course, always look over the vocabulary. That's the grammar. Stir fry. Ooh, yummy, yummy. Ooh, stir fry sounds good. The only Japanese I know is toire wa doko desu ka? That's one of the best ones to know, truthfully. That's a great one to know. Oh. And then as you learn more words, you can just say wa doko desu ka and you can find anything, right? Like akasen wa doko desu ka? Where's the red line? Like if you're in a train station or something. Basute wa doko desu ka? Where's the bus stop? Ringo wa doko desu ka? Where are the apples? Like you could find anything. Toire wa doko desu ka is just the beginning. You've unlocked so much knowledge already. All right, lesson 19. Oh man, we've been going hold on, I'm stretching. Okay. We've been going over a lot of like different forms. There's so many charts to write out. Why Japanese grammar? Or just grammar in general? Why languages? Why do languages do this? Your world is expanded, instant galaxy brain here. Oh, posture check, thank you. I'm in such a weird position because I have my book in my lap and then my drawing tablet and then my notes are over my keyboard, so I have to move them every time. And hydrate. Okay, let me drink. Awesome. Good to keep hydrated. Thank you. Let's learn the verb ta form, shall we? As always, starting with the oo verbs. Get the long one. Get the long one done first. Oo verb. Let's do a different one at the beginning first. Let's do, now that we know the dictionary form, let's do cow. That's to buy. Cow, or maybe it's better to do, might be better to do the moss form. Might be easier to understand. Kaemas becomes kaita. So verb ta, we'll learn the grammar later. We'll just go through the chart right now, and then we'll see how we can use verb ta. So with the oo verb, what we do is we take away the mas and change it to ta. Instead of kaimas, kaita. Conjugation, yes. We've gone through this is our third conjugation we've gone through today. They really stacked it up in the second half of this book. Alright, then we have to write. Kakimasu, which becomes kakita, if we're following our rules correctly. Nope, I was wrong. Wait, what? Oh my gosh, I even messed it up. Okay. I think it's gonna be easier to use the dictionary form. Okay, cow. Let's do kaku. Kaku is to write. Kaku becomes kaita. This can get very confusing very quickly. Kaku becomes kaita. On the other hand, cow, I'm gonna put them right beside each other so that we can see the difference. Cow becomes kata. I don't know why they did this, but this is just how it is. So kaku becomes kaita. You remove and slash kakimasu. So kakimasu becomes kaita. Kaimasu becomes kata. No e. Just the ta. There's an exception to the ku ending. So I'm gonna move this down. In iku, which is to go. I gotta admit, I appreciate the enthusiasm in conjugation. It's nice to see. So ita, this is like a special case. I'll draw a star. Alright, iku becomes ita instead of ita. Then we have isogu, which is to hurry. Isogu becomes isoida. These ones are pretty different from one another, so it's this one might take a little more time to learn, I would say, just because it's easier to mess up. It's easier to mess up the ta conjugation, but eventually you'll get it. So nomu, and similarly yobu. become nonda and yonda. These are the only two that use the n sound. At some point I was trying to learn Danish so I could speak with my GF's parents. That is hard to make the sounds for. Oh man, yeah. I feel like Japanese sounds are pretty easy to make. I mean, a couple of them are kind of weird, like su, and maybe like la is a little interesting as well. But Danish, something like Danish, or oh my gosh, I can't roll my R's either, so Spanish might be kind of difficult even though the vowels are the same as Japanese. What was the hardest part of Danish for you specifically? Okay, let's see. Let's do tomaru, which is to stop. Would be tomata, and then matsu, which is to wait, would be mata, and then I'm going a little quickly through these because I want to like group them together to make them easier to remember. Hanasu or hanashimasu is hanashita, kind of like the past form. Okay, so these two are similar where it adds the ita and ida. These two use nda. These three use like ta, like kata, like the double T sound. And then this is the only like outlier where it's essentially just the past form, right? Hanashita, hanashimashita, right? It kind of sounds like the past form, but this is the odd one out, the su. So if you see ku or gu, you know it's going to be ita or ida. It adds the two lines, just like it's adding the two lines here. So that's how you can remember ku and gu. Of course, there's the exception, iku, but ku and gu, ita and ida. Mu and bu, you need to remember mu and bu become nda always. So those two I would try to learn together. The rest of them, you could just be like, okay, I remember these two, gu and ku. I remember mu and bu. The rest of them use the ta, the double T. Ta, kata, tomata, mata. You can remember those. And then finally the su is the only like odd one out. With shita, so you need to remember that one too. It's not hanata, it's hanashita. Hanashita. And those are the u verbs, so these ones are a little difficult, but it just takes time, honestly, repetition. Reading hiragana and katakana is pretty easy because of phonetic spelling. Yeah, it's nice. The hard part is like upping the speed, right? Every word in Danish seems to be hard for me. It feels like tongue gymnastics. Oh my goodness. I can barely speak English. I can't imagine Danish. I know it's my native language, but once we hit around the 2-hour mark of streaming, I start being like blah, 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 blah. Hopefully I didn't say anything bad in Danish. I even almost said Danish wrong. It'd be fun to learn Danish though. Can they still understand you even if it's hard to pronounce the words? Let's do the root verbs. Okay, root verbs, once again, root verbs proving to be the superior verbs to conjugate, given how easy they are. We have taberu or tabemasu, which becomes tabeta. Same with our other helpful example. Miru becomes mita. Easy. You just remove the ru, remove the mas, and add ta. I'm gonna write that in green actually. Remove the ru or remove the mas, and you add ta at the end. Kind of like nai, right? Ta and nai for the ru verbs. Very similar. Very similar. No worries. Yes, please feel free to lurk. I definitely respect lurkers. That is me most of the time. I am mostly a lurker, occasionally a typer. Let's see, irregular verbs. That would be kuru and suru. Kuru is kita, like kimasu. Suru is shita. So it's basically the same as the ru verbs in mas form. You remove the mas and add ta. So kimasu, right, kimasu. So kimasu becomes ki, and then you add the ta. Shimasu becomes shi, and then you add the ta. Alright, ta. And that's how you conjugate to ta form. So I'm going to be really careful to make sure that I am conjugating correctly in ta form. This one seems to be one you might need to look back on for a little bit. All right, let's get to using it now that we know it. Now that we know it, or we will soon know it. Verb ta koto arimasu. This means having the experience of whatever verb. Having the experience of, and then the verb. So if someone's like, hey, have you seen Avatar 2? I don't know how to say it in Japanese. Let's see what it is in Japanese. That's a movie that came out, right? Avatar 2 in Japanese. Maybe Avatar 2 Japanese katakana? Or Japanese wiki? gp.wikipedia. Oh gosh, I don't know. In katakana. Okay, I don't see how it would be said. Let's just say atarashi movie, huh? That'll be easier. So if someone says like, atarashi eiga o mita koto arimasu ka? Let's say this is A. Atarashi eiga o So this is miru, to see. Then it becomes mita. And then we add koto arimasu. Ka? 新しい映画を見たことありますか? Oh, have you seen this movie? You kind of just say hi. You don't really need to make a conversation. I mean, we can, sure. You say, hi. We can make it longer. Hi. You have seen it. Me. Mita koto arimasu. And then of course you can do this negatively as well. Say alternative B line could be ie. Mada. Mada. Mada mada desu. Not yet. Mada is like not yet. Yeah, mada mada desu. Alright, so this can be like, then you could also say like mita koto arimasen would be you haven't seen it. You haven't had the experience. But I would just usually say mada, not yet. Not yet, if you're planning on seeing it. But then you could say, I'll write it down, you could say mita koto arimasen, which is haven't seen it. Alright. Add page. Navigate up. That was so much. Lesson 19 took up so much page already. I can't believe it. Okay. Next we have tari tari essentially. We have like verb 1 tari. Comma. Verb 2 tari. Tari tari and so on. You could have a third tari. So this is verb. Oh, I almost just wrote the same thing. It's like verb 1, verb 2, and so on. So you could have verb 3 tari. You could just keep going forever. Can't stop, won't stop. So this is describing like things you're doing or things you're planning on doing. These are not like the exact things you're doing. These are just like general things you're doing. You're not naming like every single thing, which you would be using te. Using tari is just like, oh, I did these things today. These are like the highlights almost. So you could be like, or what you're going to be doing later without describing it step by step. So like in English, describing it step by step would be like, say you're getting ready for bed. You're like, I'm going to shower. I'm going to brush my teeth. I'm going to get into the bed. I'm going to, or turn off the lights and then get into the bed. That would all be using like te, verb te, verb te, verb te before you get to the end. Tari's like, oh, I'm going to go home, gonna watch some TV, brush my teeth, go to bed, something like that. And so on and so forth. It's like, there's implied more, but you're just naming like 2 or 3 things usually. So an example of that would be Maeban. Tonight. Terebi tari. Hon. O. So televi o mitari is like watch TV. Hon o yon dari. So we know that to read yomu becomes yonda, so that becomes yondari instead of tari. Yondari, and you can end it with shimasu. You could add in another thing. You could be like, oh, kocha o nondari shimasu. I'll also drink some. Kocha is like black tea. It's like English black tea. I've never had it, but it's an early vocabulary word we learned, so I thought I'd just throw it in there. If you wanted to throw in a third toddy, you could say something you're gonna drink. You're gonna have milk, gyunyu o yondari shimasu, something like that. And so with the toddy, you end it with shimasu. That way you know it's the end of the sentence. And yeah, I think that's a good example. Just replace a time, a day, replace whatever you're gonna do. You do stuff you're gonna do tomorrow. If it's stuff you did yesterday, so if it's like kino, you don't need to change like this part. You don't need to change this. You don't need to change this. The only thing you change is this becomes shimashita. Definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it would be. Yondari shimashita. Or I guess... Let me see. I'm gonna Google it. I don't want to steer y'all wrong. Can tari be in past tense in Japanese? Let's see. Puni Japan to the rescue. Let's see. So representative activities. Add the tari. Can for present or future tense. Yusuru. Arshita. It looks like you can use it in past tense, yes. You can use shimashita. You can use yondari shimashita. You can also use shinai, which is interesting. I didn't know that. That probably won't be on in5. But you can also use tari shinai, and the example they give here is, we're learning together. This is so cool. Watari shinayo. I'll write desuyo because we're not really learning casual. Watari. Warao is to laugh. Warao is to laugh. Watari shinayo is like I won't laugh. So it's like if you're trying to get someone to tell you something, you're like, I promise I won't laugh. I promise. Just tell me, I promise I won't laugh. That's when you'd use watari shinai desu. That's cool. I didn't know that. So it looks like they use shita, so that must mean they can use shimashita. All right, good to know. Just want to double check. I was pretty sure, but it's good to double check. All right. I dropped my pen on the ground. That's okay. I still have my tablet pen. What is our next grammar point? All right, moving away from the ta form, going to another adjective. So we have e adjectives in this case. For our first example, e adjective ku narimasu, and I'll show you how to form that. We have looked at how to turn it into ku, I believe, but in the example, of course, we'll see how we do it. And then we have na adjectives and nouns, which pretty much do the same thing in these cases. Na adjective and noun is ni narimasu. Oops. And this is like to become. This is like to become. One thing I think is common, or would be common, it's at least common in English, okay? It's to become tall. So you can say something like, maybe you have a nephew. What's a good nephew name? Shido? Is Shido a good one? Shido-kun wa se ga taka. So this is takai, which is tall, or high. It's together with the se that makes it your height. So se ga tekaku narimasu. Shiro-kun wa se ga takaku narimasu. So he became tall. Naruto? Oh yeah, okay, let me change it to Naruto. He became tall, huh? That's a better name. Naruto-kun wa se ga takaku narimasu. Naruto became tall. Takaku narimasu. Se ga takaku narimasu. So that's how you do it with the e adjective. And then with the na adjective, what's a good example for that? How about kono machi wa shizuka ni narimasu. Kono machi wa shizuka ni narimasu. Machi is like street. You could say, oh, this street has become quiet. Like maybe it's unusually quiet for some reason, or now that it's raining, the street's kind of deserted or something. You wouldn't do shizuka na ni narimasu, it'd just be shizuka ni narimasu. And then we can do, let's do another name. Let's do Sakura this time. Sakura-chan wa, we'll do a noun this time. 10 歳 10 years old になります。Sakura-chan wa 10歳になります。Sakura has become 10 years old. It's a good birthday to have. Good birthday to have. Right in the middle of elementary school, you kind of know what's going on. Can appreciate a good cupcake or something. Great birthday. I honestly don't like cupcakes that much. They're good sometimes, but I feel like the frosting can be 50-50, you know? Sometimes the frosting is not very good. There was this cupcake place I went to that was by my work that had really good reviews, but the frosting was like, it was so sweet. I wanted to throw up from eating it. Like, it was just too much. And this is from someone who loves sweets. Like, I love milk chocolate, and I will eat sugar out of your hand. No, okay. I will eat sugar, but that frosting was just unpalatable. All right, last grammar point, and we'll probably stop here because 20 looks kind of annoying, and so I'd rather look at it a little bit before I try to do it. For how many channel points? What? Do what for how many channel points? So desu ne is our final grammar point. This means I agree. Will you eat sugar out of my hand? If there was a possibility, if there was a way that your hand could come through the screen and I could eat sugar off of it, I'd make it some channel points, but as of now it seems like that's impossible. I'll try to figure out something though. I do have an idea now that you've said that, actually. I was thinking... No, I'll make it a surprise. Okay, it'll be a surprise. I have an idea. I do have an idea, I promise. It'll probably be... I don't know. It'll be a higher one. It won't be like 100. Maybe like 500? Eat sugar out of your hand? I think that's not too much, right? 500, 1,000. So desu ne. That's like, I agree. If we think of this in terms of a conversation, someone will say something and you will agree with it, but you don't want to repeat the same exact thing. So if someone says something like, "Atsui desu ne," it's hot, isn't it? Like the weather's hot. Then you don't want to say "atsui" or like, "Hi, atsui desu." That's weird. It's like being like, "Oh, it's hot," and someone's like, "Yes, it is hot." Like, that's just weird. Instead, you'd say, if someone says "atsui desu ne," they say "so desu ne." Someone saying like, "Oh, it's hot," then you'd be like, yeah, it's hot, yeah. So desu ne, it's hot. So desu ne, I agree. Or it's like, "Oh, keiki wa oishii desu ne." Keiki wa oishii desu ne. Isn't this cake good? And you're like, "So desu ne." It is good. You'd have to have eaten the cake. You can't just say, if someone says it's good, you can't just look at the cake and be like, "Yeah, it's good," when you haven't eaten it. This is in the case you have eaten it. And we'll see later how we can say like, "Oh, things look good." We'll see that later, but this is like, I agree, it is good, or it is hot. This is like something you're also experiencing. That's when you say "so desu ne." So desu ne. I agree. All right, I think we'll end it off here a little early. We went through a lot of charts to go through again. Wowie wow. We're ending on 19. I'm pretty sure 20 is pretty short. It's not super long. It's kind of like a mini review. And then we'll go through 21 through 25. And we should definitely be done by January, I think, with N5. And then we can take the practice test maybe on the 29th. Does that sound good? I'm looking forward to it. I have studied N5 too many times, and I think I'll finally get to put it behind me now. So let's do this. Let's finish N5 and move on. Okay? Okay. Good night, everyone. Let's see. Is there someone that we want to raid? I don't know if there's... Let's see who we have on Twitch. The hard part about raiding is I have to like stick around a little bit. It's not bad. I like talking to other people, but I'm sleepy. Let's go to Chitsy. She's playing Overwatch. I love Overwatch. I might play some later. Chitsy with Overwatch 2. Let's go. All right, good night, everyone. Thank you for joining me. We learned a lot. Thank you so much. I will see you next week. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.